to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms and you're standing firm on those terms. Trust me, it may seem, the Babylon propaganda may want us to seem like we're in the minority, but we're not. There's many, many people who are thinking like you, who are being brave, who are standing up. And you see, for us as a melanated people, we have such a powerful connection to spirit, and we have such a powerful backing in the spiritual realm that we can do much more within our own prayer closets, within our own homes, within our own gardens. We really don't have to be confronting or doing much, but we're not doing the necessary work in private. And one of my Patreon supporters actually reminded me of a statement that is so important. We have not because we ask not. Beloveds, as a melanated people, you have the power to ask nature, to ask the universe, to ask the Most High Creator, to ask your team, to intervene in small and large things. And many of us, individually and collectively, have not because we ask not. And we don't even know what the answer will look like. Because you see, this whole Babylon jargon, beloveds, the media, the movies, the entertainment, which is really to contain your imagination. It enters you and contains you in terms of what you can think, of what you think your possibilities are. Because you see, many will ask for money, for example, and they'll be waiting for the miracle money to flow, from somewhere, or they find $100. It doesn't work like that. Spirit will respond by giving you ideas. And then if you implement those ideas, you create a channel for money to come in. And then the money won't be like the regular money. If you follow Spirit and you follow the answer, so you're like, I need money in my life to relocate to Zion. Then Spirit is like, do A, B, C, D. And you're like, how do I do it? Whatever. Take the first step, and you'll realize, you'll take the first step, and then maybe you need to get a license or whatever. You don't really have all the money, then all of the money will come. And, that's how Spirit works. And it kind of builds momentum. Because when you ask, you pull that thing from the ethers, beloveds. Everything around us is like potential energy. I mean, if you do all the, if you look at what all the Babylon scientists say, and they got all that information from us, it's all potential. So we have not because we ask not, and we don't even know how to ask. And I have done a prayer series, so please definitely check that out. I've released a few on this channel. I've also, I'm hoping to release all of them on Patreon as quickly as possible so that, people can start doing their thing. But we have not because we ask not. We don't know who to ask. We don't know what to ask. You can ask anything, beloveds. Absolutely anything. And if it's within your spiritual power to pull it out of the ethers, it will manifest. But I think the thing that lacks is our faith to ask, to even ask. Because we don't ask with authority and confidence and full faith that it will manifest. We ask with fear and longing, and please help this to happen, and I just need this to work, which is just a totally different energy. Like anything that's coming to you on that vibration, you don't even want. But in order to change our lives individually and collectively, we have to start asking for stuff, beloveds, and start taking baby steps. Because when you get into this asking, you start to pull more of Spirit into your reality. So you're not just operating on the thinnest thread of your spirituality, but you're working with a team. And then when you ask and they answer, your confidence grows. So you'll ask for bigger things. So that's why it's like start small. Start with small victories. Start with the most immediate concerns. The things you need immediately. And then wait for the answer. Know that the answer, it's a mental world, beloveds. So the answer won't come to you. Don't expect it to be it just comes to you, physically or whatever. Sometimes it can. Then miracles do happen. But listen for the answer. Because I would ask, we have not because we ask not. And then if we do ask, we hear not. So start asking for the things you want, beloved. Try it out. Don't be shy. Start even writing it out. Some of us have not even ever had the chance to truly and fully imagine what our highest life would look like. Start creating those vision boards, beloveds. Start writing what would if you had everything, what would it be? And if you're in a sticky situation, start there. Like if your office is demanding you take the V-shot in order to continue working there, ask for an alternative, a way out, and Spirit will provide. You do not walk alone, beloveds. But the whole purpose of the mind control and the Babylon propaganda has been to make you believe, which means they're making you be in a lie to your vision, or making you live in a lie. So they make you believe you're all on your own. They make you believe Africans, we don't love each other. They make you believe, the whole divide and conquer. You do not walk alone. Start asking, beloveds. The more of us that start asking, that's where our army is not physical. Our army is spiritual, beloveds. And the more of us that ask for the right thing, the more we'll continue to see things happening. Because there's great and wondrous things happening, beloveds. But because we're not telling our stories, we may not see it. Start asking for the Eden you want, the Zion you want to see. Start asking for the total and complete liberation of our people. And start asking for the wonderful things you want to happen in your life. Whether it's a life partner, whether it's relocation to Zion, that's how miracles happen. Where you feel you have a lucky break. Because you see, Spirit needs you. You need this vessel to interact in this world. So Spirit needs you to take a few steps before they give you a leap. And that's how Spirit works. You'll ask, they'll be like, okay, do this. You'll ask, I wanna start my clothing company or whatever. Shout out to everyone who's been asking me to start a clothing company, by the way. Maybe when I'm done with creating my off-grid home, but stories for other days. But, and then Spirit will be like, okay, go online and check all the different things that are happening with fashion, the different opportunities and events, and try and get into one. And you'll be like, I don't even have a dress. I haven't even started, blah, blah, blah. But if you follow Spirit and you go, and you'll find what Spirit has told you, you'll find an event happening or something that you could get into and register for it, even if you have nothing. And then once you've registered it for it, the next thing Spirit will give you is that magnificent dress or that magnificent, wardrobe. Then you'll find a clever way to do it with, so that's how Spirit works. Spirit uses a higher mind to conquer the pettiness of this world. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. We have not because we ask not. And I've done a series on prayer, so definitely check it out either here. If you want to get the whole series, you can, consider joining our Patreon family. But we will be releasing it here as time goes on, so that people can know what to ask for, who to ask, how to ask. Because you see, our liberation, beloveds, is so simple. That's why they make our lives so complicated, that we can't even get into the simpleness of it to free ourselves because we're so caught up. Your liberation is in your tongue. The imprisonment is in your mind. So sometimes your mind doesn't want your tongue to say things because it doesn't even have the faith to know that it can happen. And by the way, this is the most important mind, not this one. This is literally like a computer operated. This is like your computer screen. You should always go with this for real, powerful manifestation. Those are stories for other days. We have not because we ask not. And when we look at our situation from the perspective of the physical, from the perspective of Babylon, and I still get so many comments like that, like, we have no army. We have all these political leaders that are doing this and that. We need to go and take them out. We need to go to the streets. It doesn't start there. It starts with each and every one of us doing the necessary work behind closed doors. Because then that's an army that's unstoppable. They can't even trace it. But they've got you so you see, they've got us each individually so isolated, and like now everyone must it's like every man for themselves. Everyone must make their own decision, with everything that's happening with the pandemic. Families are splitting up. Friends can't see eye to eye anymore, and now you'll have to avoid loved ones who have it because they've become super spreaders. But they want us isolated in this flight and fight mode, completely distracted, completely overwhelmed. So they're literally like crashing the operating system, beloveds, with their mind control and their propaganda and their fear and their bullying. And all we need to do to win this war in a twinkle of an eye is step back and then step into step back from the Babylon system, then step into our spiritual authority as melanated beings on a melanated solar planet. And then now start asking for what we really want. And what we really want is the restoration of our kingdoms and queendoms, our total liberation, for our children to grow up in a loving environment that supports and uplifts them, for our men not to be, nothing negating, but for our men to really take their rightful position as the kings and protectors, for us women to come into ourselves, for Babylon to fall. Start asking for Babylon to fall, beloveds, faster, because it's fallen spiritually, but mentally it's still stuck in so many people's minds. So we need to rip it from their minds collectively. We need to rip it from our group thought. I've already told you, enough of us have reached a certain level of consciousness where we're gonna make it. But of course, we always hope and pray that more of our brothers and sisters will come on board, and millions are coming on board, beloveds. But because we don't have our own story, which would be so encouraging, we may not see it. You can see it though if you look at different, Black conscious channels, and you kind of read the comments. You can see where people are at. And it's so good to see that it's becoming more and more conscious people than religious psychosis people, especially in my comment section. So to get out of any situation that you're in right now, to be truly liberated, beloveds, you need to start asking for that liberation with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. If you're trying to do something like even move to Zion, get your children involved. You know how powerful it is when children ask? Because they don't have a lot of these barriers. Because the barriers that are blocking us from, getting the answers we need are mainly faith. Like we lack the faith, beloveds, to believe that we can get an answer and we can move in that answer and things will start to change in our lives. So start small. And then as you see those small miracles and turnarounds and manifestations in your life, you'll start to ask pretty big. We have not because we ask not. And Babylon knows if we started asking globally for our redemption and restoration, everything would change. And that means also, like, as you start asking, you're going to have more discipline with what you say in general and what you think. You're going to have to really reduce your thoughts and your speaking words. And also stop, because there's someone who wrote to me. I shared a story recently about how Amazon wanted to build in South Africa or something. And they're like, we're doomed as an African people. This is it. They're coming. And it's just like, do you still not get it? You can't be putting energy like that out there, beloveds. You can't. Because the only person it will work against is you. So we have to move more consciously at such a time as this and start asking in earnest with the deepest conviction for our liberation and a new world that is based on the highest principles of love, reciprocity, consciousness, righteousness, creation. Start asking, beloveds, and you'll start getting answers sooner, like instantly. Tuko pamoja.